Alright. Hello everyone. And welcome back to another Game Dev Daily. Tonight's daily is number 13, and it is January the 19th. Let's kind of get things kicked off, shall we? Whoop, that's the wrong one. Where are we? Well, I have most things sitting in folders anyway, so that's fine. Okay, anyway, sidetracked. We have code up, that's cool. We're gonna close the code for a moment. Alright, last night we went through setting up the Thunderbolt. We got it to do the zip to the ground. And I wanted to try and make it so that the lightning bolt would get smaller with each incremental like zigzag. But turns out that is not really achievable with what I've currently got, unfortunately. So yeah, I think we're just not going to be able to do much in regards to that for now. And I'm trying to think about what I really want to do. Like, do we want to just keep working on spells? Because that's certainly an option. I mean, at this point, how many spells have I gone through? That's actually probably worth counting. So this is our set of spells here in this folder, but we can ignore the parent class. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've done 10, which is not bad. And they're not all like super polished. They could all use like a bit more work, but I mean, in their current state, they're all like usable. They all work and do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, do probably want to tweak them a fair bit, but more or less happy with the state of them right now. Now, I'm trying to remember back to how many spells we actually wanted to put in the game. That's 5 times 3 plus 5 plus 1. 21. 21 spells was my goal, and I'm kind of already... We're pretty much halfway through. Now, I have 2 air spells at the moment. Dash and jump. I was a bit unsure as to what I wanted for the 3rd air spell. For earth, I have the wall spell. Earth 2, I don't think I had a good idea for. But Earth 3, I was going to make like some screen-wide AoE stun, probably, like an earthquake effect. That might like damage ground-born enemies. So that's what we were thinking there. For fire, we have Fireball for Fire 1 and Flamethrower for Fire 3. And I want a different fire spell for the 2nd level. And I don't really know. Maybe just like a burst of fire would be something that might be interesting. I mean, it's kind of that's kind of the same thing as Flamethrower, just like less explosive. Might be interesting to do something a bit more varied than that. We've done the Fire Lightning spell. That's the only dual spell I've done. I've done the 1st lightning spell and the 3rd lightning spell, being Chain and Thunder. I haven't done Lightning 2. For Lightning 2, what were some options? So we have like the small little chain lightning effect, and we have the big lightning bolt, which is what we just demoed. And then for a 2nd level effect, maybe like some short range AoE around the character, like a pulse or something would be interesting. So like we put up like an AoE field around us, and then that damages enemies potentially. And then we have water spells. So water 1 I've done, which is the heal. And water 2 I don't think I had a good idea for, but water 3 I wanted to be the like tidal wave effect that would like debuff enemies by like slowing them or something, and then like pushing them all back. And then for the dual spells, I've got the Fire Lightning one done, which is the Thorn. The other ones are the Water Geyser for the Water Air. The Air Lightning, it's Blink. Blink is probably going to be the most work. I think we could probably do the Water Geyser effect. The only thing is, like, uncapping my speed is going to be something that might be a bit annoying to do. If I actually wanted to cap my speed, that is. And it's a little, it's like, it's a bit interesting on how, like, I think I kind of have to incrementally shoot out water. I mean, you can have it track the player, which is what a lot of games do. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, right? We're just looking, I'm just considering the water jet spell right now. So there's some pretty easy ways we can handle it. So in the case where, let's imagine, okay, obviously if I'm a player and I'm standing on the ground like this, and I shoot out the water spell in this direction, it's gonna do this. And what's going to end up happening is my player's going to get forced backwards a bit. Because I'm on the ground, I'm not going to have it push you that fast, probably. It'll probably push you a bit backwards, but like maybe not. In fact, I might not even make it push you at all. I might make it that if you're ground-born, it's actually just not going to push you. So if you're ground-born, you're like stable enough that like there just is no pushback. Same thing if I'm aiming upwards. Like, obviously, if I'm aiming upwards, it's not going to push me downwards at all because you're on the ground. So there's no reason to do that. And I'll make it that you can't aim down if you're on the ground. Now, what is actually interesting, however, is what happens if my player is in the air, right? Let's say I'm all the way up here, and the ground is all the way down here. In fact, I should be using this scene for it. If I'm all the way up here, the ground is all the way down here. Well, now I definitely want to allow the user to be able to shoot a jet of water below them. With the idea being that if they shoot a jet below them, they're going to get propelled upwards. And this is going to, like, I don't know if it's going to be a flat amount, like a flat speed value we're going to set it to, or if we're going to, or if we're going to allow, like, it's going to fight against gravity. It's one or the other. And then, of course, I want the opposite to be true. Oh, not, yeah, I mean, if I shoot upwards, then I should propel downwards faster. And the last one is that if I shoot in a horizontal direction, I want to move in the other direction, right? Now, the thing that's interesting about this case is what happens when I fire in this horizontal direction and the player falls, right? Because, and it's kind of like, it's hard to visualize this, but is the stream going to be split into segments where it'll be like segment, and it'll like stagger downwards, because that's how that water's going to actually travel, right? And it'll be staggering. Or like the alternative is you just have it so that this water stream just tracks the player, which is also like fine. Definitely games do this. I think the initial one I was thinking of was like Super Mario Sunshine. Not Super Mario Sunshine. I mean Flood from SMS in Smash Bros. In Smash Bros, when you use the flood midair and it propels you backwards. So I'm going to kind of go backwards and down like this. Like this is my travel path if I'm shooting the thing this way. It splits it into segments, and these segments stagger, I'm pretty sure. And so you kind of get like what I was drawing earlier. But the much more simplistic way is to just keep it all in a line, and the line just travels together as a block, and it gets bigger as you travel backwards. Which is also fine. So all you would do is you would anchor this object to the player, so it moves relative to the player, which we can do. In fact, we might try doing this. I think this is like the next easiest spell for me to make, that I have a clear vision as to what I want at the very least. At some point I'm gonna have to just stop making spells and like maybe actually do some level design or something. Kind of like I might just spend like one stream in MS Paint just actually drawing levels and seeing like how we can get the levels kind of looking. But for now, in fact I'll leave all this up. For now, let's try and do the jet spell. I kind of want to make blink as well. I think I might do the jet spell and blink, because those are the ones that I have. Oh, and even most of the dual spells I have kind of a good idea of what I want. There's only like one or two spells in each of the like singular elements that I'm unsure of. I guess the only dual spell I don't really know is the Earth Fire one. That one still needs some thinking on it, I reckon. But okay. Anyway, for now, let's see if we can get this water jet spell working. So I think we want to start with just trying to get the water jet working on the ground. Like that's absolutely going to be the easiest thing to do first. And on top of that, I'm going to make a sprite for it. So actually we will jump back into MS Paint because we're going to make a sprite for this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm trying to remember, I'll probably just pick a random canvas size. It probably doesn't matter that much. So I'll half the width and we'll do a 4x1. So make it like this size. I'm going to delete everything in here and this. I probably only need to make it one layer, but I'll use 2 layers for now. It's fine, in case I want to add other stuff. Okay, so how are we gonna make this look? It's gonna be pretty simple. We're using blue. I'm gonna use a dark blue for like the outline. We'll use the 8-pixel one. I'll zoom in a bit. Okay. So we're gonna use a dark blue for the outline. I might come back to that in a second. There's one. Okay. I'm not gonna outline this side. So we're gonna normally have it the sprite facing right. Now what I want to do is over here. I think I'm just gonna like add some zigzags in. Would it be better to do curves? Might be better to do curves actually. So I think it's like this, yeah. And I probably want the curves to be pretty small. Oh, okay, hold on. Doing MS Paint curve is kind of annoying. Anyway, I'll tinker with this to get it looking alright. For now, I won't worry too much. Yeah, but we want kind of like this going on. Try and get this point a little better. The MS Paint curve tool is atrocious. You have to like double click to get it to work. here. Like this, and then we'll finally have it curve back in. And I'm kind of decide if I want it to be more ripply. I think I'm just not gonna bother. This is fine. Although I guess I'm seeing one issue, which is because I don't have transparency, the edge of this is just gonna be white. Just gonna look a bit crap. But hey, I guess that's just what happens when I'm working with this. Reduce this to 8 pixels. Just gonna tidy up. Kinda hate. In fact, maybe I just don't use the brush tool. Can I use the pen tool at 8 pixels? There we go, that's what I want. It's just hard to see what you're clicking on is all. That look a little nicer. Okay, and then I'll like erase this corner as well. Hello? Why pixel art's so goddamn hard, man? Alright, I think that's fine. So this is gonna be the edge. It's a little pointy. Okay. I'm gonna really quick tweak this. Just gonna make it a little nicer looking. It's hard to get the right points is another thing, but alright, I think that looks a little better, and I'll just erase kind of the edge of this, just so it's a little nicer. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, whatever. Alright, okay, I'm calling it there. That's enough. And then what we can do, just to give it less of that, the white look, I'm gonna select the end of this, and I'm just gonna drag it over. So that it's... So we get the least amount of white pixels in this. If I just do this. Like that, and then we just fill in what's missing. Is this the right size? I believe so. Lovely. Alright, easy. And then all we're gonna do... I mean, look, the simplest thing is to just fill tool this, like so. Which looks fine, honestly. I mean, it's pretty basic. I guess if we want to be a little more interesting, we can add like one lighter blue, a bit more pastel. Let's say like it's pretty much white with like a tinge of blue. Let me just see how this looks. Yeah, that's a good color. Okay, and then we just do the same thing inside. I kind of don't like how that looks though. I don't know how to like make water look good. Like if I do stripes, is that gonna look good? Maybe it's like a bit deeper in, like this. Like there. And there. But I have no idea if this is actually like... Is this really what I want? God, it's so impossible to get this tool to look good. How do people actually use MS Paint to any effectiveness? Like, doesn't this just look shocking? I'm trying my best. Oh my god. Okay, I mean, we got this. Something like that, and then we fill this in. MS Paint water tutorial. Should I just Google it? I mean, does this add anything? I feel like the answer is no. I think that added nothing. Like, I just leave it at this and we're happy and it's good enough. Alright. Good enough for me. Let me just save it as an asset that I can use. Where are my assets though, actually? In here. I'm gonna call this water jet. Save. Okay. So that's what we're working with. Let's import this into Unity and see how awful it looks. So again, I don't have any transparency because I'm using MS Paint because I just haven't been bothered to, where am I looking for? Import new asset there. Okay, if I drag this in, we can see it's just got white on the end of it. Incredible. But what we really want, right? So at the end of the day, we're gonna have it look something like this. And it's going to scale on the width. So it's going to scale out, and it's going to look really shit when it's scaled out because it'll just stretch it. But it's going to look like that. It's like what you would probably do in... If you were doing this properly... Oh, rotation, wrong one. Nigga one? There we go. You would want to have this, what's the word I'm looking for? You wouldn't have like, you'd have a sprite for each length that it can be, basically. Rather than just stretching the sprite, because stretching the sprite obviously looks bad. You don't really notice it with the wall sprite, because when the wall sprite's squished, first of all, it doesn't look that bad when it's squished. But also, it stretches so fast back up to its normal size that you kind of can't tell that it looks shit. But with this, like, it's really obvious at the end that, like, that looks bad. Upgrade to paint.net. I mean, that's not MS Paint though, is it? I don't know if I can use this, mate. I have GIMP on my PC, I'm just not using it. Yo, what's up, the art dev? Hate to break it to you, but you ain't getting much incredible art content here. You're gonna get the absolute bare bones of I make a sprite and No, I'm not, I didn't assume you were. I'm just saying that that yeah, this is look at this, look at these graphical masterpieces with no transparency. Okay, what are we doing? I need to, so we've got the water jet, which is fine. I guess we just need to make the spell, right? Okay, so coding, fun. We're gonna hop into here. I'm gonna hop into the player class. We're going to make, I guess I'll make a new script first. So what's it closest to? It's probably closest to the wall. In terms of like how it functions, but at least in terms of how the projectile functions. Yeah, using C# out of with Unity. What was it gonna? Okay, so we're not gonna start with that. We're gonna start with. What do I build this off? Chain maybe. Can build it off. Maybe build off Pea Shooter actually. Oh, Pea Shooter's got so much crap that I built up chain. Alright, so I'm gonna copy chain and I'm gonna rename this. So we're gonna have, this is water air. So go AW. And I'm gonna call it jet. Alright, and then in here, we're going to rename this. AW Jet is going to inherit from the spell class. It's going to load the jet projectile, which currently doesn't exist, but we'll get it to exist in a second. Okay, so we want to do stuff based on whether or not we're grounded. That's a big thing. If player holds the up key, fire it in that direction. So I'm actually going to base this mostly off whether or not we're grounded. So it'll be like if player's grounded and then directions. For right now, we're going to just look at player is grounded and up, right, left. And we can do like up, right, and up, left. Thanks for the follow, Artev. So let's just delete most of this. Okay. So I'm gonna do if player dot is grounded. What is it? Just grounded. What's my property for grounded? Oh, it's lowercase p for player. Okay. Player dot is grounded. Okay, so as long as we're on the ground, we're gonna check if we're holding up key, right key, or left key. Like so. I'll do another else if for this. And then everything we're doing inside of this, I'm going to get rid of for now. Okay, so this is the execute part. Now, one thing to note with this spell that it's only gonna fire the jet for as long as you hold the button. And do I want there to be a maximum duration? I could put that on it, but I'm undecided if I want a max duration on it yet. So let's not worry about this for now. The letters are indeed being leaded. Alright, game object to jets. I don't know what I'm using distance for at the moment. Probably not going to use this distance. Okay, so let's start from here. So we're going to go back into our player script. We're going to make a new spell. Okay. Game objects. Dot add component. I'm going to add jet. So it's AW underscore jet. Now, I could be adding these in the editor, which might actually be better rather than doing them through code, but whatever. For right now, I'm not going to worry about it. EW jets, and we're going to just put this on Q for now, I guess. Okay, cool. And so when we press Q, we're going to execute the jet spell. So if we take a look in our spell parent class, cast is going to fire upon pressing Q. So we check the spell's not on cooldown, check that we have enough mana. Is it a channeled spell? If it is, disable our movement. In this case, it's not a channeled spell. Play.casting is true and red is false. And then we add the delay. Now for this spell, I think I'm going to have no delay. I think I don't want any cast time. In fact, I might change delay to be cast time at some point, but for now anyway, it's fine. So if I hop back to the jet spell, which I pulled out on accident, we see we have no delay on it, which is good. We do have a cooldown. I probably don't need to have a cooldown on it. And it's currently got a mana cost of 10, which is fine. I'll just leave it at 10 for now. Okay, and then after all this, it's going to execute. Okay. And then we go into the jet spell, right? So we check in the execute script, what are we doing? Now another thing I have to do is add in a overrides. I need to override the fixed update. And that's not going to do anything on the base fixed update because there's nothing in there. But the main thing we're going to do is we're going to have execute instantiate the water jet. And fixed update's going to check that you're still holding the button. And if you're not holding the button, we're going to delete it. So all we'll do is check if... we'll probably have a ball for casting. And the end result of execute is we're going to set casting to true. So I have a private ball for casting. And this is going to equal false by default. And then when we finish executing, we're going to say casting is equal to true. And then we check in here. So we need to see the key that we've assigned it to. Now, the spell key is a key code. So we can check input.getKey, the spell key, and this is going to make sure that we're just holding down. It's just going to make sure that we're still holding down the button. So in this case, it is Q. If we're ever not holding down the button, then we want to cancel the spell. So we're no longer going to be casting. Now, if we are casting the spell, we want to extend the length of the projectile, but of the water jet. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's just get it actually instantiated first. So the easiest one to do by far is the right-angled one. So I'll start with that, because that's going to be the least work. So at this point, I can probably look at one of the others. I probably want to look at one of the ones that actually fires a projectile. So reopen P shooter. Now, how do we do this? Game objects. Yeah. Okay. Game object inst is equal to instantiate. We're going to instantiate a new game object. Now, I need to make sure that I have the jets actually defined. I do have it as a... I do have it in the projectiles folder, which is okay. Projectiles.jet. I just need to make sure that name lines up. Okay, so we're going to instantiate an instance of jet. So I'd like to instantiate a jet. And now the question is, which version are we using? Position rotation. I don't need to declare my parents, I don't think. Original parent. Position rotation. That's the one I mainly use, I think. So here we're using instantiate original position rotation. Yeah, okay. So the position is going to be... Oh, actually, that's something as well I need to make sure of. Which is probably going to require me to put the jet onto an object. Because, is this an actual, this is a sprite. Yeah, it's not an actual, like, where do I have wall? This is wall. Ah, yeah, of course. Okay, so what I actually need to be doing is... Wait, where is the wall sprite actually coming from, then? It's in the sprites folder. Okay. So I guess the reason I haven't had this for other things is because I'm using either just default stuff or particle systems, but I can add a projectiles folder in here. So we're gonna have a sprites projectiles folder, and we're gonna drag this jet into there. And I might call it, I'll just leave it as jet, that's fine. In projectiles, we do want to make a new game object though, which I can probably copy off of an existing one, maybe off wall. I probably don't want it to be wall. I just make a new one, whatever. So wall has a sprite renderer, a transform obviously, a box collider, and a wall script. So let's create a new game object. Where are the game objects? 2D sprites, top palette, timeline. Hold on just a moment. I actually don't know where... It's not folder, it's not material. What am I wanting to use for this? Not shader, not search, not scripting. Scene? Prefab? Ah, okay, got it. Alright. Figured it out eventually. Okay, so this prefab is going to be called Jet. It's going to have a sprite renderer on it. The sprite renderer is going to be using the Jet sprite. So cool, we have that sorted. We're going to give it a hitbox. So let's add a box collider to it as well. Where's my... Oh, up here. Box collider 2D. And this box collider is just going to go around the whole thing. So if I look at the edit collider... Oh, weird. Why can't I, interesting. Is there a setting for the box collider that I don't know about? Let me go back to, let me look at the wall. Sprite renderer, box collider 2D. Edit collider. Wait, where's the thing for updating the color? Wait, what? Am I blind? Also, I do not need that open. Sprite renderer, box collider. Where's my option to adjust the collider? Hello? Edit collider material. Size is this, offset is this. If I drag this into the scene, I should be able to see it, right? Yeah. Oh, because the wall's got colliders underneath it. And here you can edit the collider. So why can I not... Was that... Wait, that was just always there, no? Am I crazy? Jet. Edit collider. Wait, was this just here before and I was just blind? Okay, it is set to the full object though, so that's fine. Alright, we can leave it like that. And I only want one collider on the jet. I don't have to worry about having multiple colliders. So I don't need to have like child components that is one for each collider. So So it's just going to be one object with one object with one collider on it. I'm not gonna worry about layering it at the moment. I mean, I think this is all I'm gonna need for now. It might need a rigid body to handle collision checking. I think it's gonna need a rigid body as well. So yeah, all I'm using the rigid bodies for is purely to simulate is the body... I think this is whether or not it actually does the physics. Why can I not see the tooltips? Is the body to be simulated? If not, it's effectively hidden from the simulation. Yeah, I think I want this. Oh. Maybe not then? Because I wanted to actually do the checking. So I don't want any angular dampening, I don't want any gravity scale, and I don't want any mass. And I do want collision detection. That's what I actually care about. Sleeping mode and tablet, yeah. For the rest of this stuff, that's all fine. Okay, so we can leave the rest as is. Now, let's just get the jet actually popping up in the game first. That's probably the #1 thing to do. So our position is going to be the hardest part because the rotation is free. For rotation, we can just use quaternion.identity and I don't even have to do anything. But for the position, I need to figure out where's the right spot to place it. Oh, and that's something else I haven't looked at yet. I want the jet to actually be offset. Can I offset the sprite, or do I need a child component? I may need a child component. Open sprite editor. Position. Can I just say like 2? 150? It just changes the width. Okay, I can't do it in here. Discard those changes. So looking at the sprites, I want to flip it. Sorting layer, order in layer. Okay, we're gonna have to actually make an object underneath. So this is jet, and underneath it, I'm gonna have I'll just call it sprite underneath. And so basically, I want to copy this component, paste it here. Can I do that or not? Copy component. Paste. Component is new. Okay, got that. Then I can remove it from this. I also want to copy the box glider. Copy component. Paste it in here. And we'll copy this as well. So all I'm going to have is the jet object at the top. The reason that I don't want to use it is because... Where's my paste option? Yeah, the reason I want it to be a game object underneath the parent, which, by the way, I'm absolutely not showing. Here we are. The reason I want it to be underneath is because I want to be able to move its position. I want it to be off-center because I actually want it to be like here. And then we'll try and make sure that this is lined up properly. And I won't get too crazy with it. Looks like 4 is like right on the money. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so we have it so that the center of the game object, the pivot point, is the base of it. That's the main thing we want here. Now for the hitbox, we're gonna have to update this as well. Oh, actually I don't have to update it because it's off-centered. Everything's under that. Okay, that all works fine then. Okay, happy about that. So I want to... That's fine. I want to set this to 1, 1. Cool. Alright. Got the jet prefab. I should be able to spawn it in now. I just have to give it the right position. That's the important part. Okay, slightly distracted. Alright. Pulling it open. Here we go. Instantiate the jets. Rotation is fine. Now the position, we're going to use the same Y position. That's okay. So we'll use the Y position of the player. So I'm going to make a new vector 3. Now the first portion of the vector 3, I'm going to effectively ignore for now, because we'll just do the Y first. The Y is going to be equal to player.transform.position.y. Now the X position is a bit more involved. It's not that crazy though. It's going to be player.transform.position.x plus now how do I get the edge of the hitbox? It's going to be player.transform.position again. No, maybe not position. So now I'm trying to add a static value, so I want to get the width of the hitbox. I think that's how I typically do it. I get the width of the hitbox and I halve it. I mean, look at the pea shooter spell and how I get it here. Yeah, player.getComponent box collider 2D. So I'll use this. So we get our X position, and then we get our box collider, and we get the transform dot it's not the transform dot width dot bounds dot size dot x. That's what I use. Now, question: can I just use the players dot bounds? Nah, there's only a dot bounds on the box collider. Bounds dot size dot x, and then I half it because we don't need the full length. And this should theoretically give us should spawn the jet in. It's going to spawn it at full length, which is fine, but it should spawn the jet in for us as long as we are facing right. Which it does, and currently we can push it, which is not what I should be able to do, but let's see if we can fix that next, I guess. So if I look at the jet component, let's get out of the game and go back to the scene. On the rigid body, I do have a mass here. What do I normally have on these projectiles? Let's look at the P. It has a rigid body, simulated, yes. Body type kinematic, not dynamic. And if I look at something else like the wall, nothing on the wall. Do these all use kinematic? Looks like they all do. Thought I had made something recently that wasn't using kinematic, but I guess not. So we'll add that in here. Body type, kinematic, and then it doesn't worry about any of this crap. Simulated. Am I using the kinematic thingamabobs? I am. What does this do? Unity, can you tell me what full kinematic contacts is, please? I would appreciate it. Man, sometimes Unity is so happy to tell you what stuff is, and then other times you hover it and it's like, nah. Maybe it's because the game's running. Yeah, okay. Should kinematics and kinematic static collisions be allowed? I don't know, but I'll turn it on. Got it set up and working. One kind of annoying thing is that the outline is very similar to in color to the game background, so we might change that at some point. But you can see we can spit out a bunch of these sprites, and they look fine. Currently a bit too tall. Bit too tall for the player at the moment. I might have to scale it down a bit. Probably something more like that for now. It's going to be a bit better. Yeah, okay. That's more the size I'm expecting for the water jet. Alright, so something I've noticed that we definitely need to fix. I shouldn't be checking for right key, left key. I should be checking for what direction we're facing. Now, if I'm holding the up key, then I do want to fire it upwards, but otherwise, I don't need to be holding right or left to fire the jet. I just want to check if I'm facing left or right. So player dot face right is the one I want. And in fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have an else, and inside the else, I'm gonna have another if statement here. So if we're holding up, do this crap. Otherwise, if player face right, do this stuff. So if we're holding up, I mean, I need another check for if we're holding down, which I guess I do underneath this, but for right now, it doesn't really matter. So if player.face right, instantiated here, else, if we're not facing right, then we're facing left, so we want to spawn it facing left instead. So I don't need any of this. And we'll instantiate one to the left as well. So this is going to be the same thing, except instead of adding our x, we want to subtract our x, and we do actually need a quaternion. We need to change the direction we want this to face. Now, in the Thorn spell, I'm definitely doing that. Quaternion.Euler is what I want to use. Quaternion.Identity is just the base, like 0, 0, 0. So I need 0, 0, 180 around the Z. I think is what I want. And we'll give this a spin and see how it looks. If I'm facing right, it shoots in the right direction. Facing left, it shoots in the left direction. Awesome. It's a bit flush against our character, I'm noticing. I guess it is just exact, which is fine. It looked like it was overlapping a bit in the game scene, but apparently it does not. So that's good. I want it to be a steady stream, so it's never going to detach from the player. It's always going to be attached. Now, I guess I can get the up working too. Probably only going to be a relatively short stream tonight, I think. Alright, if we're holding up, then I want to shoot it upwards. So it's kind of the same thing. The difference is the X position doesn't get added to. Instead, we add to the Y position. So it's plus the player's Y bounds divided by 2. And rather than quaternion to identity, we use Euler again, and we're going to rotate it by 90 this time instead of 180. And hopefully that should work as expected. Awesome. All right, so we can now shoot them in 3 directions, which is kind of definitely the main starting point. I probably want to be able to fire them in 8 directions eventually. And to fire them diagonally, you just have to be holding both the keys. For now, this is fine. Like, the next step would be to say, if I'm not grounded and I press it, what happens? And in that case, it's going to also propel you, because you're midair. So on the ground, you get no propel. It's just going to fire the spell. And the other thing we want to do is... we need to make it, like, extend out like the wall does. So it grows bigger the longer you hold it. So those are like kind of the two main things to work on next. And then, you know, as it propels, it's going to push enemies. So I think it'll probably be as simple as while an enemy is inside the water, it gets pushed back at a static amount. While it's inside the jet. I don't know if I want to make it that it, that if an enemy's hit by the jet, they stay behind the jet. I mean, there's another alternative, which is that the jet just doesn't move as fast if there's enemies in front of it. Like, it grows slower. That's also an option. Which we might go with that too, to be honest. There's definitely a few different ways we can handle it. But I actually think I'm not gonna do much more tonight, just because I kind of have some stuff I want to do. And this is going to be like a really short daily today. And I might wrap it up here. Kind of got the basis for the spell set up now, but yeah, there's a bunch more we're going to do. I probably won't be on tomorrow, but we'll pick it up the day after, on Tuesday. And we'll actually do probably a decently longer session then, in which we flesh out the spell a fair bit. Okay, cool. Alright, thanks everyone who stopped by for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a really short daily today. But again, I promise the next one will probably be like twice as long, so tune into that one, and I'll try to get as much of this spell done as I can then, but it's probably going to be another 2, maybe 3 sessions for the jet spell. Probably 2. I think 2 is probably a good guess. Depending on like how much I want to actually refine and polish it. But I'm probably not going to spend too much time on it. And then once jet's done, I think I want to do blink. It's either going to be blink or we're just going to actually start doing some level design. Get some really basic level design set up. So I will decide on what I'm going to do there. But, yep. That's where we're calling it today. So, hope you all have a great day, and I will catch you next stream. Have a good one.